everyone, and welcome to another meeting of the Inkster City Council. Today is April 18, 2022, and the time is now 7:30 p.m. Before we get started, please, Reverend Williams, honor us with prayer.
Let us pray. Father God, we come no other way but with love in our hearts, realizing that you are all in all. Father, we just come to you tonight asking you to help us conduct this meeting, that we do it in decent and in order. And most of all, Father, continue to bless this city as we move forward. In the name of love. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All rise for a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, City Clerk.
For the record, Mayor Wimberly.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard is excused. Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Washington.
Here.
Councilmember Watley.
Present.
Councilmember Chisholm.
Here.
Councilmember Shaw.
Here.
So there's 5 present.
All right, we have a quorum. Moving right along. Approval of the agenda. Your support? Support. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. All right, presentations. Councilman Wiley, I heard this. You said something about YouTube. Did you have something? We're all set?
No, I was just going to show them the video of Miss Lester, just to let them know about her.
Okay.
Troy was looking that up for me, so I don't know if you want to do that as a presentation and then go into the request. Either way.
Okay, we'll wait to the requests.
Okay.
Okay. All right, consent agenda? Consent agenda.
So moved.
Is there support?
Support.
Moved and properly supported. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Nay.
Nay.
Roll call, City Clerk.
Councilmember Washington.
Yes.
Councilmember Watley.
No.
Councilmember Chisholm.
No.
Councilmember Shaw.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
3-2.
All right, motion carries. All right, moving right along. New business?
Oh, sorry. The first item in new business is to authorize the administration to rename Woodall Street Lily R. Lester Drive in honor of her 100th birthday, commemorating a myriad of years of service to the community and the state of Michigan.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Discussion? Councilwoman Washington?
Are we not doing boards and commissions this week?
No, I mean, you guys, we're supposed to skip them every other week.
We skipped it last week, didn't we?
No.
There's boards and commissions,
That wasn't.
and we can.
Okay, that way we just don't have any confusion as it relates to boards and commissions. Every week we will do boards. Every 2 weeks we will do boards and commissions. So that way I'll just call them out and then you won't tell me, hey, we're not doing it this week. Oh, we did it last week, whatever. So back up. Do you have any appointments for boards and commissions? Councilwoman Washington.
I do.
All right, give them to us.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry. I think we got a motion on the floor.
Okay, let's get through this motion and then we'll go back. All right, any discussion as it relates to the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, ayes have it, motion carries.
Sorry for discussion. Did you want me to go through anything?
Yes, ma'am, of course. I thought he was doing a...
Would you like me to start?
Yes, please.
Yes, that's what I thought he was doing, a presentation. Did you want to talk about it as he's getting set?
Sure, I can talk about this. The reason that we're renaming White Hawk Street Lily R. Lester Drive. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Lily Lester, but she will be turning 100 years old this year. Her birthday, it states here in the thing it's the 19th, but actually it's May 5th. And she has the distinction of being the first female sergeant-at-arms in the Michigan State House. And she's the first black female sergeant-at-arms in the Michigan State House of Representatives. So she has been a long-time resident of this community. She has done so many things politically and community-wide. I think in honor of her 100th birthday, that some sort of commemorative effort needs to be done. So we let her know how much we appreciate her and the distinction she's bringing to our community. So that is why this is here. And I just wanted you all to see a little short program where she was honored in 2018 by the entire Michigan State House of Representatives.
Having a little technical difficulty. Hold on one sec.
Throughout the month of March, in celebration here in the 1960s and 70s, who I had the honor of meeting back in 2019 when she returned to the House chamber.
My apologies. If you could just go on.
Oh, okay. He wants me to keep going about her. Like I said, Miss Luster has been involved in politics ever since she came to Michigan. She likes to tease that she was there when John Dingell first came into office. She was there, you know. And she has these programs that she does. Like I said, she's involved in politics. And a lot of people have utilized her, what she calls Circle of 10. This was her mechanism by getting out votes or getting people to be active in the community. It was called a Circle of 10. She would take 10 people, and she would give each of those people a message that they would take to another 10 people. And that 10 people would take to another 10 people. And in this way, the message got out to everybody. We need to employ things like that in our community today so we can make sure everyone is aware of what's going on in the community, or everybody is voting in the community, or everybody is just joining in. So she has been an inspiration. And like I said, she just stopped driving last year. I want that, okay? I want to be able to drive until I'm 99 years old. Y'all might not like it much, but I like it.
Our Capitol building over the years.
Are we ready?
Today, I'd like to tell you a little bit about a woman who served here in the 1960s and 70s, who I had the honor of meeting back in 2019 when she returned to the House chamber for a visit at the age of 97 years old. Her name was Lily Lester, and she served in the Capitol as a sergeant-at-arms, the first woman to do so in Michigan. She worked here in the chamber from 1965 to 1976. She initially obtained her position through her relationship with another member of her church, People's Community Church in Detroit, which she attended alongside Representative Daisy Elliott. Of course, that's a name that many of us know in relation to the Elliott-Larsen Civil Rights Act. Sergeant Lester came here to the Capitol, where she served in the House as a sergeant-at-arms. This made her part of a larger team whose job it was to serve as assistants during session to make sure that everything was secure and safe during the meetings here in the House chamber, and also to serve as liaisons with members of the public who wanted to send in notes to the legislators, or also to greet tour groups who were coming in to observe from the gallery. She also very quickly became a part of the Capitol community here. This was a time when more and more people of color were being elected to office. And when she speaks of her time here in the Capitol, she often talks about the family that existed, that included names like Representatives Raymond and Morris Hood Jr., Representative George Cushenberry, Daisy Elliott, Matthew McNeely, Jackie Vaughn. And she was, as publicized actually in a newspaper article from the time, known as the mother hen of this group. She looked out for them. She was always ready to have a quiet conversation, to offer advice. And she also made a practice of regularly praying for those that she considered to be members of her Capitol family. Now, her time here in the Capitol was brief, but her entire life has been one of service. And that is what she still speaks of as being most important to her to this day. She was a part of the larger political community in Detroit and was a major part of the civil rights movement that really defined Detroit and so much of the Black community across America in the 50s and 60s. When she speaks of this time, she speaks of it as continuing the work others had done for her. She was born in rural Georgia and grew up in the segregated South, where as a young woman, she watched a group of Black pastors advocate for access to good paying factory jobs for other members of the Black community. And she herself actually worked as a Rosie the Riveter during World War II in a munitions factory. So she didn't actually come to Michigan until a few years later. And Detroit has been her home ever since. Today, I am very happy to tell you that Ms. Lester is now 98 years old. She still thinks back very fondly on her time here in the Capitol, although I always have to laugh because when I asked her how her work in the Capitol changed her, she said, well, I had to start drinking coffee. There were just too many late night sessions. I just couldn't do it on my own. Today, she continues to serve others in her community. She is still very active in her church, and she is still reaching out and extending her hand to those in need. And now that we have been able to learn more about her, we are eager to serve her by continuing her work and by sharing her story and her accomplishments with you.
For the purposes of a special introduction, the chair recognizes Representative Gay Dinyogo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I'm honored to be joined by my colleague from the 11th House District in welcoming one of the first woman Sergeant at Arms in the House. She is our guest here today, Ms. Lily Lester, who is 97 years young. She came into the House the year that she retired is the year that Clerk Randall came in, I believe. And I'm so honored that she is here today and want you to join me in recognizing who was considered the mother hen at the Capitol and our first female Sergeant at Arms, Ms. Lily Lester.
Representatives, please join me in welcoming Ms. Lily Lester to the House of Representatives.
And I think that's the extent of it, but I just wanted you to know how other people think of her. She has been a mentor to me since I got started in politics. She has pushed me, she has inspired me, and she's asked me to do things I really don't want to do. But because you're getting that expert advice from people who know the way, you can't help but do it. So I want to commemorate her being here, a resident of Inkster, a community superstar, by naming the street she currently lives on in honor of her. And like I said, there's no cost to the city. I called Jerome about that because I put it to be determined, but there's no cost to the city. And once we have established which day we want to do it, we will put that information out to you once we've had he's done the sign, and we'll have a little ceremony out there by Wyckoff Street, and we will be inviting the press and the television stations and things of that nature, because she has lived a well-lived life, and I think the recognition is well-deserved.
Outstanding.
So I'm hoping my colleagues will
Outstanding. Yes, Councilman.
I would just like to comment on that. First of all, I've been knowing Lily Lester ever since I was a real young child. And what Lily Lester have really done here to the city of Inkster, Wayne County, Beverly, she was really a true civil rights icon. And not only get things done in Lansing, but I think she's well deserving of the honor, okay? Because she has been truly a fighter for many years as a as a icon for civil rights in this city, okay? I've seen her push things and things that went wrong. I see her get together and she fights you to the end when it comes down to trying to mess over the black community in the neighborhood, okay? But I wanted to say that because I don't want no one to think that we are, because a person turned, and it need to be said, because, okay, I just don't want nobody to think we're honoring people and changing names of the street because they're 100 years old. Because that's the case, we have to change a whole lot of streets, okay? But I want to let it know that she is that's one of the first civil rights icons here in the city of Inkster and the state of Michigan. So I wanted that to be on record.
Yes, sir. Anything else? Anyone else?
Mr. Chair, I just want to commemorate Miss Lily Lester too on her 100th birthday, and I echo my same sentiments as my colleagues. You know, I got a chance to meet Miss Lester at the Block Club. She was serving with the distinguished gentleman, Mr. Larry Modley, at the Southwest Block Club, and I got a chance to meet her, and I tell you, it was a treat. She is a treasured jewel in the city of Inkster, and I just implore anyone to get a chance to talk with her. I got a chance to spend some time with her at her home, and I tell you, she'll take you through those souvenir books and show you her history. And when you see the history of this profound woman, the woman of God, do the things that she has done, you can see her passion that she displayed for the people and here in the city of Inkster. And I just want to thank my colleague for bringing this out. That's all I have to say.
All right. Anyone else?
I would like to also echo the sentiments of my colleagues. I've had a lot of good times with Lily Lester. We would come to her house and bring her food. We would just sit there and talk. And she really helped me and mentored me along the way while working up at the legislature and also serving on council. So I want to also say thank you to Councilwoman Sandra Watley for making this happen.
Great. Anyone else? All right.
Just one other thing.
Yes, ma'am.
She was one of the judges in one of our Memorial Day parades for the floats and stuff too. So like I said, she's just active. You just ask her and she'll do it, you know. She's community oriented like nobody's business, and I just love her to death. So I'm glad you all feel that way too.
Yes. I think she's touched us all if you've met her, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I know that the clerk is working on a resolution for us to sign for her birthday.
Really?
Yes,
okay.
so we do have that request already commemorating her 100-year anniversary, and 100th anniversary birthday, which is on May the 5th. So we will get that out to you all and get that circulated around. Also, too, we are pushing it up to the governor, the senator, and, of course, our representative to sign as well.
Okay, excellent, excellent.
All right, moving right along. Item B, please.
So we doing this, right? We've already taken all of that.
We've already done the action. We're doing this. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We're doing it.
Mr. Mayor, did you want to reverse and go back to boards and commissions?
Oh, yeah. Thank you. See, that's why you do that. That's why, we work. Okay. Boards and commissions. Councilwoman Watson.
I would like to appoint Curtis Dean Barge to Downtown Development Authority Committee.
Four.
Okay, now let me just make sure, because understanding the bylaws and what the DDA says as it relates to the interest of the DDA, you have to either live in the DDA or have interest in the DDA. Does she own a business in the DDA, in the TCD, or does she live in the TCD?
She lives in District 2.
Does she live in the
district?
Does she live in the town center district? Does she have business in the town center district?
No, she does
Now, what you mean, just say it again, Mr. Mayor?
So
So all of these people that sits on this board from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Out of 8 of these people, I don't know if any of these actually live in
or have interest in the DDA. That's what we've been talking about. Is I've been bringing up the boards and commissions as it relates to the Downtown Development Authority because it's not configured correctly. Our attorney did send out a memo regarding the Downtown Development Authority about, was that a year ago, David?
I think it was a little longer than that, though.
A year and a half ago?
Yeah.
Okay. So
it
before
sounds
we,
like you may need to take a look at all of these then, correct?
yeah, for certain.
Because I know with Curtis Dean Barge, the reason, of her interest is because she's been a realtor for years.
Oh, no doubt about that. She would be an excellent choice. At the same time, as it relates to the state mandate and what a DDA and how a DDA operates, it actually has protocol. And you have to either live in the DDA. I think it's like 1 or 2 members that have to live in that area. David, I'm not sure. You looking that up now? Okay. And then the others should actually have business interests in the downtown.
So that even, because some of these terms are going all the way to 2023, which will be next year, but it looks like most of them are coming up to expire soon, so it looks like we will have to go through the entire board and commission.
Yes, and that's why I've been mentioning that as it relates to us talking about boards and commissions, as it relates to the DDA, and having that information for us to make sure that we're appointing people properly to boards and commissions. Yeah, please, go ahead.
The City Downtown Development Authority shall be under the supervision and control of a board consisting of the mayor and not less than 8 or more than 12 members appointed by the mayor, subject to approval of the City Council. Not less than the majority of the members shall be persons having an interest in property located in the downtown district. At least one of the members shall be a resident of the district. If the downtown district has 100 or more persons residing within it, an equal number of the members, as near as practicable, shall be appointed for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years respectively. A member shall hold office until the member's successor is appointed. Thereafter, they shall have a term for 4 years. So at least a majority of them must have interest in the district or live in the district.
And currently, like you said, most of the people that's on the board, they don't have an interest or live in the DDA. And meaning have an interest, they have a stake in a business or they own property within the town center district along Michigan Avenue up to Inkster Road between, what is that, Princeton Street or Norfolk Street where, yeah, what is that, Norfolk? I believe that is Norfolk on the, what is that, the south side of the street at Inkster Road and Harrison, of course, going up to Harrison Street. And then coming back on the north side, it would be right below Colonial Park. Yes.
So what about all these people that's on here that are not residents of that entire district or are business people?
Yeah, that's what we've been working to go through the list, and I know that me and the clerk have had conversation as it relates to just bringing it to the body's attention, and then for us to go from there, because it may be this body having to ask people to resign from the position, or either us removing them from the position so we'll be in compliance. And see, I understand that the biggest part of this is because we're trying to do what is called a redevelopment ready community through the state of Michigan through MEDC, and they're requiring that all of our boards and commissions and our master plan is up to date and it's aligned properly in order for us to start to receive monies, especially what's happening with ARC right now, with the ARC funding that the state has and is under its control. And if we are not in compliance, then we can't apply.
Sounds like you may need the Chamber of Commerce help in that then.
No, not necessarily. The chamber doesn't. The chamber, of course, would be if I think Martha Tice sits on there. However, again, people that have interest in that area, and then I believe it's two residents that need to be that live in that area need to be on that board.
But you are right, Mr. Mayor. There's several different commissions that require you live in those, like the Tifa district and other places like that. And we should be, if it's a state mandate or whatever, we should be in compliance with that. So
yeah, and that's what we're dealing with. Just because, and we know that it's sensitive because most of these people, as you're looking at their names on the list, I mean, these are people that we want to be able to serve, and we know that they want to serve. I don't know, how their appointments happen. However. I know that we need to go through each one of them. And the reason why I've been speaking on the Downtown Development Authority for the last couple of months is because I'm sitting in these meetings where I'm looking at grant opportunities for the city of Inkster, and they're saying that we're not in compliance because our boards are not set up correctly. Go ahead, Councilman Williams.
So what you're suggesting is we just, all of these people here, if they're not in compliance, they would have to resign and we put out for people to take these positions?
Correct.
Okay, well, when we going to do it now, or what? Are we going to need a motion for that, or what?
David, how would you say that we proceed?
Well, I suggest, you through the clerk's office contact the people who are either expired or close to expiration who don't satisfy the other requirements. Explain to them that we're trying to comply with the state requirements for the DDA board and ask for them to resign. Ask that they volunteer to step aside so proper folks can be appointed.
Do it that way?
I think that would probably be the best way to do it.
And what if they choose not to?
They can be removed then if they're not in compliance. The best way to do it, in my opinion, is to do it. Ask for permission, let them know it's not adversarial.
And see, the city of Inkster is actually poised to receive millions of dollars in grants right now. But if we don't have the right things in place or the right mechanisms, we won't be able to apply because we don't qualify. And that has happened to us in the past. So we want to make sure that we are on point.
Okay.
So I know that the city clerk is already working in that vein. Me and her have had, I didn't want to just put it all the way out there, but we've had those discussions where she's putting on her list to bring folks in and actually talk to them and tell them exactly what we're saying now. And
just one clarification.
Yes, sir.
Are you saying that the business people who are in the city are business people, they have to live within the DD area, or they can be part of that board?
Right, so you would have to own a business within the TCD. And the TCD is along Michigan Avenue and Inkster Road, or parts on the either side from the riverside over basically by the end of the railroad tracks, going all the way down to Harrison Street and back up to John Daly. That's considered the TCD. So you would have to actually own a business within that area, or you would have to live where the majority should be business owners or stakeholders in that area, and then the other 2 members should be residents that live in that area.
Well, maybe I won't prolong it, but I would just like to know. I won't prolong it, but there's a question that I would have about that,
Put it out there.
Because of the area that we have there, so you got business people there, but yet for a lot of residents strangers in there, it kind of concerns me about, putting a full board together. Because I'm looking at all these people that's on here, you got to try to get these many people to put back on there, and us just say, well, you got to live in that area.
Well, no, not necessarily. So you can own a business in that area, so it'll be a person that's not from our community.
But he said their business got to be in that area, right?
Right, correct. But they don't have to live in Inkster. on this particular board, you don't have to live in Inkster in order to serve. You can own a business, so you have
a person that don't have a business in the DDA area, they can't be on that board.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
So with respect to that, I mean, again, Curtis T. Barnes would be an excellent addition to that, to the DDA board. However, as we're reappointing people, we want to make sure that they are, the criteria fits for them to be able to serve, because it's crucial. It is crucial, and I'm talking to the director of MUDC, I'm talking to the director of Wayne County as it relates to economic development, and these are the things that they're sharing with us. At the Planning Commission level, we're actually looking at training components for the DDA and for the Planning Commission as it relates to us being able to get monies to be a redevelopment-ready community.
Understandable, like you said, if that's our plan, definitely, and we have to make sure that we follow state guidelines with these boards and commissions to receive the monies, then we know there's the next step that we have to do, which is what the clerk has to do with putting all the information out and making sure that we get it straightened out. So I understand. We can move forward.
And David, if you could please just send that back out to each council member, and then we'll also too have Troy posted to the website. And if anyone else want to take a look at that. Did you have anything else, ma'am?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Any others for boards and commissions? Hearing none, moving right into item B.
Item B is to consider approval for the proposed Robocall community alert policy.
What's your pleasure?
So move.
It's been moved and properly supported. Councilman Chisholm, if you could, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome.
I'm trying to remember the year when we first began these discussions. I think it might have been 2019 or 2020. And what was recognized in our community is that we do have a communication gap. We have a certain populace in the city in which we do not get word out to quick enough or at all. Some are seniors, some may not be seniors, and it's due to the fact of whatever form of communication or media that you use, whether it's a cell phone, social media, U.S. mail, so on and so forth, or public access channel as well. So one of the things I put together, like I said, a couple years ago now, or maybe it was a year ago, I can't remember the exact date and time, was a robocall outline or community alert policy. I sent it out to my colleagues. I remember Attorney Jones did tap in. I spoke with Mr. Seaton, the media director, Jerome Bivens as well, and I'm trying to remember if it was anyone else, and they gave either input or thumbs up that everything looked pretty much complete to them. This would be used for any capacity of, for instance, we had a huge water main break at Annapolis and Inkster Road. A lot of people never got the communication that we were under a boil water advisory. In this particular event, DPS would have been able to enact an emergency use for that to put it out to call all the residents in the city. And you would have got that call from the city of Inkster letting you know that there was a boil water advisory in effect at that moment. That way you wasn't waiting on Councilman Williams or someone to come knocking at your door from DPS with a piece of paper letting you know about it. And then you're under the concern, well, how long has this break been going on, so on and so forth. Brought it back around because even recently with the street sweeping notification coming out, when we have things like the Memorial Day Parade and the Summer Fest or different road closures that will affect the quality of life for the community, this information needs to be able to hit everybody. That way you're not just in the middle of the night wondering what just happened, or on your way home from work and trying to find a detour, or for instance, when not knowing that the Summerfest is getting ready to take place on this date and the roads are closed and it's going to impact your livelihood, whether you live in that area or something of the sort. So I reset this back out to my colleagues, or actually, I'm sorry, I sent it to the clerk's office to have it added to the agenda for request for council action. It's an outline in there. It's an actual policy. Again, like I said, the attorney went over and it's kind of in depth. Also, a question that Councilman Williams was asking was cost to the city. And right now I have down there to be determined, because when we spoke in the past, we talked about if this was something that would be included with our telephone package that we currently have, which we're already paying for through IT. We talked about, well, what about if that comes under that particular department's budget? If it's DPS sending it out, if it's the fire department or police sending it out, something like that. Or if it would be something that we could have sponsors pay for, and that way it's not a burden to the taxpayers. Also, put down on here as just a note, I guess something else. If we didn't, or if we are not able to utilize an in-house option for it, we would just identify a vendor, of course, to use, like we said, the RFP process and everything like that, and bring it back before council to vote on whoever is the cheapest or most effective, things of that nature. Robocalls are very inexpensive, but I really feel like it's something in-house that we could set up, just with the technology that we have now, IT group, things of that nature. And there's a lot of qualities that come with our office at hand software that we have already. And it might just be something we're not tapping into, or even know that it's a feature we could add on to. And so at this time, I don't want to inundate you with too much information. I know you got it, like I said, some time ago. It's in your packet now, but I am open to any questions.
Well, I really like the idea for people, you know, it's another way instead of Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff, getting hold of people. This is a good way to get hold of people, but I'm really concerned about the cost factor, you know.
Absolutely.
We need to go back and do some research, find out exactly what it's going to cost us, how many manpower we might have, is it going to be run by manpower? And then too, you got to check with the IT and find out exactly, you know, that's going to be an increase in cost. Okay, I mean, I like the idea. The thing about it is we need some money figures, because you know we're strapped in this city, and we need to make sure that whatever we putting on now, we can afford it.
Absolutely. Well, the way robocalls work, it's all pretty much electronic. For instance, if me and you wanted to send one out jointly to the city, right, literally we would reach out to the vendor. We would give the vendor a list of all the numbers electronically. They would run them through the do not call list system, and they import it into a database. They give you the number that you call and the code, you record your script, and that's it. There is no additional manpower or things like that. Just using, say, Mr. Bivens, for instance, for construction on the street. They would already have their scripts pre-programmed. It would be either in-house with IT, say we need to run this, or Troy, we need to run this. They would go into the computer, boom, 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 and send it out. But again... Okay,
I can understand if it's that simple, you know, but it's still going to take some what I'm saying, it's going to take manpower to do it, right?
It could take one or two people.
One or 2 minutes?
Two people. 1 or 2 minutes as well. It's electronic. And so, literally, if I pick up the phone and say, you were my vendor, and I say...
I understand the robocalling, but I'm just saying, all that's got to be tapped into that, right? Say if I'm going to send a message to everybody in this community, okay, it's got to be, someone got to put it in there.
No.
So you just pre-record.
Are you just going to record it and do it?
So it's like for... I don't want to...
No, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Well, go ahead.
I guess.
I mean...
So,
through the chair.
You know, like, for instance, when you actually voice record something on your phone. So you can even do it like that. Like, politically, they have a voter action network, which is the VAN system, which a lot of politicians use during election season. And you can record. It's like you opening up your voice recorder and putting out a message on your voice recorder. You send that information, and they'll send it out to all the numbers.
And this machine to do it itself, right? What you saying?
Well, the actual...
It'll call all these people?
Well, the company itself will actually... Would it be the same way, where they would actually give it to each number?
Yeah.
To each house? Yeah.
Like I said, with robocalls, there's a do not call list. So if people opt to be on that, that's, you know, on them. But what I was proposing is we have a way where even if people are on a do not call list and they say, I want to receive calls from the city, we could put that down and have them receive the calls from the city, because this is for an emergency and municipality use. This is not a political or a spam type of ordeal. But once it's all in the computer, all you have to, once that information is imported from the database, which we already have those databases in the clerk's office, it's just a fact of the matter of importing them from one system into the other, is there. You know, it's all you have to do every time a script goes out or an alert goes out is they have to record it and then just press send. And then it automatically starts to call the residents every minute, every 30 seconds, however long it may take. And there's nothing else anybody has to jump back in to do because it's all computer generated.
So tonight we just proving the policy?
Yes, just the policy. This was because everything in there is in depth about different things and procedures that have to be in place in order to use it. It's not just any one of us could pick up and use it. This would be solely for the chief of police, the DPS director, and I forgot, it's all in here. That's why we spelled it out that way. But we can also, if further discussion, needs to be had, it can be if you want to.
Really, because I don't want to approve anything and go away and we're making these policies up. Okay, and try to implement them, and then in fact we don't have the funds to do it.
No, correct. That's absolutely fine. Whoever made them.
We need to really find out exactly what it's going to cost and how much time. See, time is money too. So
absolutely.
We need to find out exactly what it's going to cost. I mean, it's a great idea because we need a way that we, other than Facebook and Twitter and all those other things, to alert a lot of people on some of the emergencies that we have. But we don't want to put no more, because we don't want to put no more money on the mayor, administration.
Absolutely. I was going to say, well, whoever made the motion, if they would like to resend it to table it into a further discussion, that is. I didn't make it.
Hold on one second, Councilwoman Wiley.
Yes, I was just going to say that in my experience, robocalls are one of the least expensive things you have during, campaigns. They cover a large amount of area for a set price. Mm-hmm. And really, robocalls are things where there's absolutely no manpower other than you recording the message you want to send out. Mm-hmm. After that, it's just automatic. Everything just goes where it's supposed to go. The other thing you have to take into consideration is a lot of the people do not have computers. That's how we send out information, or they don't have this, but everybody has a phone. They're publicly given away. So this is something that you can utilize to make sure that you're reaching the entire community. And I believe the cost could be negligible regarding the response you get or the impact you get. Because the one thing we always hear about is what we didn't do.
Correct.
Okay, so if we're doing this, then that means that you're getting the information. Now, what you do with it after we give it to you, well, that's a personal situation. But still, we have provided this for you. And like I said, anyone who's done robocalls during their elections know sending out mailers is a lot more expensive than a robocall, okay? So the approval of the policy, if the policy is good, the mechanics, later, I can understand you wanting to know before you do it, but there's no real extreme cost. Mm-hmm. And then each of these, I'm assuming, will be, like you said, there's a way to ameliorate the price. Because he says if DPW wants to use the robocall, then whatever it costs for that particular call is charged to DPW's account. We can do it in such a fashion that everyone who utilizes this is, there's a communications budget within their budget. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be up to us too. So, the thing that bothers me a lot about things is how we let things lay on the ground for so long before we actually do something about it. And in the interim, if something happens, we're sitting here going, oops, So what I'm just saying is that if we put the policy in place, we can begin to make those other adjustments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that, I've used robocall myself before. And it's usually less than $2 It's usually like 25 cents, 50 cents each call, maybe less than that.
Yep.
But 26,000 residents, it's better communication, because I think that's what we get a lot, that residents don't know, or they didn't know, or no one told them. So it takes the burden off of even the media, you know, off the media part of Troy doing his job, because residents will be getting those text messages and calls.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries.
So item C is to accept a bid from Vision Construction for an amphitheater in the town center district. Renovate the courtyard, including landscaping, concrete replacement, electrical, and authorize the administration to enter a contract with Vision Construction in the amount of $175,000 to complete the scope of work.
What's your pleasure?
Support.
It's been moved. Did somebody move? Support. Okay, discussion. Let me just jump into it. In 2018, Representative Joel Jones, through his office, received a grant for the city of Inkster in the amount of $150,000 to do an amphitheater. However, we know comparable to what is at Gotti Park in Wayne, that particular amphitheater, outdoor amphitheater, is about $1 million. And they just received another $500,000 to do maintenance to it this year. We don't have the money for that type of amphitheater. So we know that the money was actually running out and we needed to spend it. And instead of it going back through the administration, currently what we came up with is an idea that's similar to Campus Martius downtown. And if you've been to Campus Martius downtown, it's an open air concept type of amphitheater where you can use it to, bring in, different functions, whether it's music functions, festivals, conferences, whatever you would like to use it for in that space. That'll be kind of like an enclosed space along the old city hall at Inkster Road and South River. Today what we're asking for is because the money's already been accepted from the city back in 2018. The city accepted the money. We didn't necessarily spend the money just because we were looking for other monies, trying to get more money to do the amphitheater that we all want. But this money is going back if we don't spend it this year. So over the last year or so, we've been working through the efforts of my administrative assistant who's at the podium right now, Safe. He's been working directly with DNR and asking for extensions, like every, 3 months or something now? Yeah. 3 months?
3 to 6 months. 3
to 6 months. For a while, we were actually looking for the money and trying to figure out where the money was. Well, the money has always been in our coffers. So we actually have the money right now, and if we don't spend it, we're going to have to send it back. On top of that, we received $25,000 in community development block grant monies to put into a development within this area. So that's the additional $25,000 that I'm asking for this body to approve, and along with Vision Construction, because we put out an RFP. It was out for 3 weeks on Mitten and Bittery or Bitnet.
Bitnet and social media. Bitnet. And
all of our social media sites as it relates to this, and we only received one particular bid on this. So this is the information that you have before you. Now understand this, that once this council approve us to work with Vision Construction, we do have to go through the planning process, where this will actually go through the planning commission. Of course, during that time, if anyone has any input through drawings and all of that stuff is relative to the project, that'll happen during that time. But we need to get this going pretty quickly, because if we don't spend the money, like I think, what is it, July or June or August?
Before before July.
If we don't spend the money saying that we're starting to do something, then it's going to go back. We have to get the money back. And I don't want to leave any money on the table.
If we have a shovel in the ground, then You know,
I believe that will work, but at the same time, I think that working with this gentleman, and if you can, as you're flicking through those, and you guys can see those, go and show some of the other work that did he have some other work?
Yeah, I have a short video here.
That he's done in other communities.
And if you could, while he's doing that, can you explain the process? Because usually it goes through planning first and then comes to us. So this way, switching back, are they still going to come to us after they've gotten through with planning too?
Well, this is not necessarily a special land use, but it was just the RFP process to actually go out and say, okay, who's the vendor that we're going to work with? So now they can go through the planning process as it relates to the work.
Okay.
Ready, Mayor?
Yeah, go ahead. Came to us because we were recently awarded $2.5 million to do the senior center in the city of Inkster. And the facility that you just saw is a senior center over in the city of Dearborn, along with the banquet hall and facilities. And, you know, we said, hey, we got this out here, why don't you bid on that? And he said he wants to display what it is that he would be bringing as it relates to quality of work if given this opportunity to do this particular piece. So he's willing to work with us with the monies that we have. And, you know, it's something that I think will really accentuate that area, because we know right now that the area is dead, for a lack of a better words. So I think that with this injection and having movement in that area, bringing out, you know, different things that we could actually do as a body, of course, the community, and using the space and the traffic along East Robertson Avenue, it'll just inject some life back in that area. So I would like to see this happen. At the same time, you know, I'm yielding to this body, whatever you guys would like to do at this particular time. Any questions that you may have?
I have a question.
Question, Councilman Washington.
How many people do you feel could actually fit? Like, if we had, would we be able to have something like our Summerfest or something?
I mean, you could have yeah, I'm sorry, man, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you could have a small music festival, nothing like the Summer Festival. The Summer Festival, and that's why we went to Inkster Road, Michigan Avenue. It garners over the 2 days that we used to do. I think we went to 3 days, 2019. About 15,000 people come through that area. So this area would probably, you know, as people, you know, is into that area, being around that area, using that space, you could probably fit a few hundred in that area. Just open air concept.
So people will be able to actually rent it from the city of Inkster. We'll actually be able to.
If that's what this body wants to do, we could definitely do that. I mean, but it would be gated, it would be lit. And you looked at the proposal, of course, it'll have electricity running in that area. We will light it up, and it would be on lock for sure, just because you're going to have scaffolding out there with speakers on it. You're going to have a monitoring system on there as well.
Yeah, because that seems like that'll be a way to actually keep it clean and keep it monitored, probably.
Yeah, for sure. And cameras will be in that area as well that would be connected with PD. Any other questions?
I'm just hoping, Mr. Chair, that it will begin to, once this project comes to pass, that it begin to start spurring some other development. If we can get that same type of vendor, start looking at the old city hall, police and fire, and the old library there. So,
oh yeah. You know I'm cooking. I'm in the kitchen, man.
You know
that's something for you.
My district over there, so you know.
Yes, sir.
I want to get it, you know. So that's just my comment, Mr. Chair.
And we were talking about Councilwoman Wally that asked me as it relates to just the square footage of the space itself. So comparable to a football field in that area. So about 100 yards long, and then along Easter Road, and then going back and across as it relates to in depth, about 50 yards in. So there's definitely more than enough space over there to, again, start a gathering spot for us to be able to, as you can see, having a staging area. And if any of you have been down to Campus Marshall in the summertime, it's popping. It's popping, to say the least. So we want to put some Jenga, the big Jenga games out there, put a couple of chess boards out there, have some hack-a-sack or something out there, and just enjoy the space.
The big what game?
Jenga. They had like this big thing that you could put like pieces
okay,
into it.
Jenga.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know what
Yes,
you were
ma'am.
talking about. But yeah, the square footage, there's no seating like I asked you before. This is like Pine Knob where you used to bring your own chair and blanket and stuff
Yes,
like
ma'am.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now we are, because of the relationship that SAFE has established with DNR, is that they're like, hey, we got another pot of money for you. So we are going back to apply for another, $150,000. And then we know that the lines of redistricting has changed a little bit. Senator Pohanke has been here in our offices. She was out on Saturday as well. I showed her this project, and she just got Wayne, what was it, 500,000?
500,000.
She got them 500,000 for their amphitheater, so she knows that she has that already on her radar to work with us to help us get some more money to enhance the area as we go along. Because ultimately, we would like to have something comparable to Wayne, I believe, if we're talking about outdoor entertainment in an amphitheater.
Okay, we're not crossing south across the street where the police departments and everything are. This is from South River back that way?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm sorry, north.
Yes, ma'am. Back up to the river.
Okay.
And then once we get that Rouge River cleaned out and we get some docking stations right around in that nature area right there, have some canoers down in there. Oh, it's a beautiful vision right there.
Oh, it's happening. It's gonna happen. As you guys saw over the weekend, the Friends of the Rouge were at the event, so they're showing what they're doing. If you're on John Daly right now in that area, they got excavating equipment out there, so definitely moving in the right direction. Yes, sir, Councilman Chip.
Yep, just had a quick question as far as restroom facilities.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's no, I guess you could say working plumbing because the library and Old City Hall is closed and the police department. So will we be temporarily using, I guess, porta johns for these events? Or okay,
I would say so. And let me just put it out there. We did put in for the community development block grant, a continuation of finishing off the Inkster Recreation Complex because we had a shortfall of about $600,000 to do the complete renovations because of the pandemic and prices going up. So we got that $800,000, but we were short about $600,000. It was $1.4 million to do and complete everything. So right now we're just doing the lobby area, we're doing the locker rooms and that, and the bathrooms downstairs, but we still got the entire upstairs to do, and then that wing leading over to where we're talking about connecting the senior center and doing the facade. So we asked for $600,000 for that, but also too we asked for the repurposing of the old library. I think it was $371,000 to turn that into a historical and cultural arts museum. For that area. So those buildings, I've had them cleaned out. The City Hall has been cleaned out. Volunteers, Jason Dixon has been over there working and got all the water out the basement and cleaned out the whole City Hall. It's unreal when you see the pictures before and after. And also too, with the help of Jerome Bivens through DPW and AC Ratliff at the time, Chief Ratliff at the time, we cleared out the old the old court. Not court, the old library. To now, hopefully, we can have that as our historical and cultural arts museum, and that'll be kind of like that place, that welcoming center, and you can have bathrooms and all that stuff in that area.
Gotcha.
Alongside this, and we'll get word on that probably by the end of this month.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other comments, questions, concerns? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. All right, getting into public comment. We ask that as you approach, as your name is called, please state your name again for the record, and then go into your comments. You'll be given 3 minutes. And let's start with Kelly Lindsay.
Greetings, Council, Mayor, Council, Kelly Lindsay, stating my name there. So, I see you guys often around the neighborhood, at the Home Depot as I'm at. But I just want to start off on a nicer note, because I'd love to ask a kid from Inkster to join us, as I am a first-year teacher in the 6th grade. And they have a promotion ceremony on the 8th of June. At 9 o'clock at Robocall. We're honoring those 6th graders who worked so hard. They came a long way. We had a lot of behavioral issues. And they've rectified that. We just came from camp, and all year long I've been preaching integrity, taking accountability, and service to your classmates. Don't be rude. All that jazz. Yeah, and so I would love for a kid from Inkster to come and say just a couple words at 9 o'clock, June 8th.
9.
At Robocall.
Okay.
And of course, we'll be also honoring those camp counselors, Robocall seniors. And I wanted to start, I said, I'll wait for a senior graduation. But I'm honored to be with the 6th graders, and a lot of them leave and go to Romulus or even Southfield, other schools from elementary school and junior high school. So if we had somebody say, hey, we love you here, we want you to be here, congratulations, that'd be awesome. So that said, I have a vacant lot next to me that has 2 homes taken down in past years, and I tried to keep it up. But my new occupation, along with still my side gig at the Home Depot, leaves me tired. Last year, I just couldn't do it. And, wow, it's a mess with trees. I have to admit, they were not trees for me. They're right outside of my property line. But my insurance company told me after I called to say, there was some storms, and can I have some help? Because they knocked some stuff off. If you don't get those trees off of your roof from touching your house, we're not going to cover you anymore. So a couple trees turned into whoa, where'd these come from? What's going to happen here? So while it's small and I'm willing to be patient, I want to get back on the list to have that lot taken care of. Because the guys will pass by oh, they got that over there. Not anymore.
And this is the address that we're talking about?
26668 Ross.
Okay. And they are city-owned?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely. In fact, we just had some electrical work. It seemed like the guys from the electric company came over and did some things with some wires and threw all them poles right in the rubble. Are y'all serious? Tried to take a picture of it, but I was discreet. I wasn't bright. I was like, oh, they're going to see me. But yes, it's still there, oh my goodness.
Okay. I'll go by there tomorrow.
Hey now. Yeah. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you guys for your time.
All right, thank you. And please forgive me, I do not want to mispronounce your name. Audrey?
I am Audrey.
Your last name?
Binion.
You're Binion, okay. I was gonna get it right.
Good evening, City Council and Honorable Mayor Patrick Wimberly. My concern is the abandoned houses on my block that has been there forever. And I know one of the properties was purchased in the 2017 Wayne County auction, foreclosure auction, and the gentleman never renovated, repaired, or anything. And as a rule, it used to be that it had to be brought up to code or whatever within 6 months of the purchase. And that hasn't happened, and that was September 2017, and this is 2022. And I was wondering, does the city do anything about that? And because the weeds and everything has torn down my fence, he said that he could clean half if I clean the other half. I don't feel like I should be responsible for it because it's not my weeds. And there's another house across the street that needs to be torn down. And it did have the auction sticker on there, but sometimes people take those signs off the property. And I don't know if you're bidding on them or what the situation is, but I did see Balfour there last week, but they didn't board up the home or anything like that. But my main concern is the one directly next door to me that needs to be addressed.
Okay, and that's...
I think the address on the house next door to me is 3806, Isabel.
Yes, ma'am, you did put that on there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What we'll do is, because I believe that's when we started our neighborhood stabilization program.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if it fell under us as it relates to our umbrella and the person that, do you have that information? As it
The
relates
guy
to
that owns it, his name is Derek. I can't think of his last name right offhand, but he owns several properties on the street and all over Inkster.
Okay.
And he's a resident in the city of Livonia, but he buys a lot of properties in Inkster.
Okay.
Yeah, but he doesn't keep them up.
Do you have his information by any chance?
I think I might have his number at home.
Okay. All right, then. Say, could you get her information and give her a call back, and then that way you guys connect with one another, and if you have it, then you can get that to me. But we'll definitely get out there.
Thank you.
'Cause that's exactly, we're on that right now. That's what we're working on. The gentleman right there in the back right there.
Okay.
Thank you. Lucretia Howard?
Good evening. My name is Lucretia Howard. I am here to say that we need to start back taking pride in our city. All councilmen in each district need to ride around and look at their district and see what needs to be changed. I don't understand why we don't have our code enforcers out there in the community enforcing the codes. Each person that stood up at this podium is asking for our enforcers to be back out into the community to enforce the codes. If you ride around in your district, you will see there are empty buildings, property owners, lands with nothing but trees that have fallen down from all the storms that we have. And I do not understand why the workers that are certified are not picking up these fallen down trees and putting them in the truck that we have that shreds the trees. We need to take back pride in our community. If we can bring all these pretty buildings here, then why can't we make our community back pretty? You can't beautify something that is trashy. I thought I would never say that because I was born and raised in the city, but each one of you need to ride around your district and look at our city. It is falling apart. If we can bring these buildings and put these buildings back together, let's put our city back together. We always ask, how come Westland is such and such and such and such? Well, they send their city code enforcers out there. They use the equipment that they have. We have not seen the sewer equipment in God knows how long. I've seen it, well, the summer, and that was once on the corner of Parkwood due to the flooding that pipe had bust. We have equipment, let's use it. We're crying for our councilmen to come in and do something to our city, to beautify it. Not just bring buildings, but to beautify our city.
Thank you, ma'am. Duly noted, and note that, and I think I speak for this entire body, that that's exactly our main goal is to clean up what we have. So,
it doesn't seem like it.
I'm sorry, ma'am. You were, I was just commenting, but you're...
Right, but at the same time, it does not seem like it. There are trees that has fallen down from all the storms that we've had, and they are not just little thin trees. There are thick trees, and we have equipment and people that are certified in that to go cut those up, put them in that truck that shredded that has not been done. We have business owners that are not doing nothing with these business. It's just a land with nothing but trees and trash. We have empty lots that's owned by people that's filled with nothing but trees and trash.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So let's take pride in our city and bring Inkster back to the way Inkster used to be. It used to be beautiful.
Ma'am, thank you for your comments. All right, moving right along. Officer Summers. Evening.
I just wanted to thank everyone that participated too and came out in our Easter event this past weekend, Saturday. It was a really, really successful event, and I think it's probably one of the biggest ones that we had. So I just wanted to thank for all the collaboration and participation with that event. And I wanted to put out there that we are back up and running with our Coffee with a Cop. It is the last Wednesday.
I'm sorry, Officer Summers. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Excuse me, folks in the audience. When someone's at the podium, we would ask that, with due respect, that you allow them to respect and listen. Please. Thank you. Go ahead, Officer.
The last Wednesday of every month at Applewood, Coney Island at 11 a.m., we're having the Coffee with a Cop. We typically try to have a couple officers, myself included, Chief, and a few ordnance officers to answer any questions that any citizen or non-citizen may have. So everyone's invited to that. The schedule is posted on our Facebook page. But again, it's the last Wednesday of every month at 11 a.m. So the next one coming up is next Wednesday, the April 27th at 11 a.m. So everyone is welcome and encouraged to come to that. That's all. Thank you
so much, Officer. Great event.
Thank you.
Everybody that was sponsoring, working, all the volunteers, all the giveaways. Awesome event. And we're going to keep it going. We're going to keep it going. Chief. Right.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, citizens. Just a update to some of the things that we're doing in the police department. May 9th through the 13th, Inkster Police Department will be conducting a citywide abandoned vehicle blitz and blight enforcement blitz throughout the city. We'll be working in tandem with code enforcement, building department, and any other city department that we deem that we need to get involved for any specific location that we have a serious problem with. We have received numerous complaints, and we're getting to them. And of course, we will. We're trying to give residents notice that we're coming. We're giving you ample notice, again, May 9th through the 13th. If you've got abandoned cars, inoperable vehicles, trash, garbage, your house is looking raggedy, or you've got some issues on your property, you know you've got until May 9th through the 13th to get it going, because we're going to be tagging cars. If they're not moved in 48 hours, we're going to be towing them. And the object here is not to cite people. We do not want to give you tickets. We don't want to. We want compliance. That's our goal. Our number one goal is compliance. If we can knock on your door and tell you we got a problem here, is there a way we can get you to clean it up? Do you need help cleaning it up? Is there something we can do to help you? We're going to work with you to try to do those things, but we have to get moving with some of these abandoned cars and some of the trash and some of the things. And perfect time is now. We're not going to wait anymore. It is spring. The warm weather's starting to come. You wouldn't know it today, but the warm weather is coming, and we're going to be out there. And part of stopping crime and curbing crime is cleanliness. If you don't believe me, just research it. Clean areas have less crime. Let's clean it up. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Keep doing an excellent job. We support you. We know that you out there running runs all day and all night yourself, so we appreciate you. Commissioner Henderson? Good segue for you, huh? The Chief set it up for you, huh, for beautification, huh?
Well, hello, family. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody doing fine. Hope everybody be doing better tomorrow and for eternity. Of course, my name is Gabe Henderson, and I'm beautification. And I just want to say that there's been some changes in our dates of start. We would normally start in April. We're going to start, okay, in May. And they always the last Saturday of the month. So this May coming up, okay. The 28th, that'll be our kickoff. Booker Dozier Rec Complex, 9 o'clock. We'll be up there with bags, gloves, and any helpful, implements that, that the public could use, help clean up the community. And also, we have dumpsters set out on those dates. There's been some complaints, of course, justifiably, that sometimes the dumpsters are set in the area that, we like to keep it clean, like one particular location that's Wheatley Park. A lot of events is held there, and sometimes if someone might want to have an event that day, we have the dumpsters, and we have dumpsters that's been overflowing and all that, and the place get pretty trashy, okay? So we're going to try to make some changes on some of the locations of the dumpsters. Of course, we're going to definitely keep at the Booker Dozier Rec Complex. We know we're going to keep that there because we got an area that it could be, dumpsters could be off to the side, won't be in the area that, be, I was talking about, the code enforcement. We do still have forms here at the City Hall that the public could come and fill out these forms and put their complaints on those forms. And code enforcement people are supposed to look into it and try to make a correction of the problems that we have in our city is one thing. We're sure we can do that. I'm still waiting on the Home Depot to get back with me about trying to help us along and getting certain supplies and all that we can have to give to, like gloves, trash bags, anything, any kind of substance like the maybe want to do some. I lost my thought, but anyway, help us along in our beautification. And another thing, talking about the old City Hall, or the old library, and all, on the senior, I'm not the senior. The Historic Commission, we was trying to get permission to go down into those buildings and hoping that we can find some information about the city. I even told her I would sign off any kind of waiver if that if I go down there that I might get the some kind of pollution that cause me any kind of problem in my lungs and all that. I had got masks and stuff like. I would like to go down there. You say they've cleaned the basements out already?
Unfortunately, since we left that area back in 2013,
okay.
That's the police, the city hall,
right.
the court, we turned the power off.
Okay.
So when we turned the power off, we turned the sub pumps off.
Okay.
So the basements have been full of water.
They've been full of water.
Buildings have been full of water. So all the buildings are grown up in the inside of them, where of course in the basement is nothing but sludge. So anything that was stored in the basement from City Hall or wherever is gone.
Right.
And then of course the water and the moisture has caused mold in the buildings. Most of the buildings are covered in mold.
So it's that bad? It's really that bad?
Well, no doubt about it.
Okay.
Sure, it needs remediation, but that's why we're looking at the monies to be able to restore them.
Okay, so we're saying that if it was any books or any information about the city, it's completely as a waste. Just destroyed. Okay, I won't.
I'll definitely, because it's you, we'll take you over there. So we'll take you over there and show you.
Yeah, I got my waiters and all that. I was willing to go down there and see if they have any stuff located on top shelf area and all that that I could retrieve, that we could get it to the Historic Commission, because we was trying to get some information.
For sure.
So
we want to house it all at the old library. Because of the architectural designs of those buildings, the old the old library and the City Hall.
Right.
You won't see buildings built like that again, unless they, of course.
They got good bones, no doubt. Yeah.
Beautiful buildings.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to save them to the best of our ability by volunteers doing the work right now. At the same time, you can come over there whenever you're ready.
Okay.
After I'll let you know.
Right. And we was talking about, the new thing you want to do in that area, as far as you said something about having potty toilet, potty toilets and stuff like that available and all that. It'd be easy to construct, small lavatories there, just like you might have on Wheatley Park, okay, and Inkster Park and all that, because the plumbing and all the water, it's not. You can tie into the minor, drainage and all that could be taken out to the main. We got city water and all. It, something that we can look into. It should be no problem. It shouldn't be a whole lot of money. Just get a structure, a nice sound structure and all that, secured structure and all that. Find out where the lines are running and tap into them. Okay. Definitely. Okay. Thank you for allowing me to have a few things to say. Yes, all right.
Thank you for your service. Appreciate the work. Commissioner Ward, Chancellor.
Greetings, everybody.
Good evening.
I am here to talk about our 5th anniversary Juneteenth celebration that we have been doing in the city of Inkster for 5 years now. Our goal is to do it at each park in the city of Inkster. I think it's 13 parks in the city of Inkster. So each year we do it in a different park so that the community can participate with the celebration. We're asking the council to waive our fees. We're going to do it at Brookside Park this year, and we're asking you to waive any fees that we may have at this time. And we want the city to be involved in the celebration that we give every year.
Okay. Have you done a special events packet as of yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we
you submitted it to the city clerk already?
Yes, we have done.
Okay. So when we get it on our agenda, let's go ahead and pop it on the agenda for next council meeting.
Yeah, we just got it a little late for
this. Yeah. So whatever whatever we can do on our side, then we'll address that at that time.
Okay. Okay, that's all I have for you.
Okay. Looking forward to the event. Should be awesome. All right. City clerk, you got anything for the body?
No.
Is that a no, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. Treasurer, you have anything for us?
Yeah, we're getting our budget finalized for 22-23, so council members be looking for an email with those final numbers.
Any dates for study sessions with the body?
I mean, we have to just schedule one.
Okay. I know it'll probably be several. I mean, the last time I know we went. So we want to get you that information out early. So let's make sure that we get them electronic version, but also to the binder version. So don't put yourself on the hook for that. Let's make sure that we get that to them. Okay? And then go from there because the deadline is coming up soon. All right, go ahead, Councilman Shaw.
To the treasurer, and to the administration as well. Mr. Chair, I wanted to know if we can start getting the treasurer to do us presentations, budget presentations that we have in the open session with we have individuals that come that presents. We can have the treasurer do a presentation maybe once a month, twice a month, or what have you, so that you can begin to start talking about what's going on in the budget, who we are. Because I know there's a lot of questions concerning the budget, and the budget is fluent, so it's ever moving. So if we can get those PowerPoint presentations, maybe at an orientation session or something like that, and just periodically, keep us abreast, keep the body abreast on these, on the movement of the budget.
Okay. I know that when we did the session in January with Plant Moran and had them come out and present along with our treasurer, we said we do every 3 months. So we know that from January, we should have actually probably done one in April. But however, we're going into the budget.
Yeah, I know we got budget sessions right now.
Yeah, budget sessions. So we definitely will take that and start from that point on. But we're about to get into it. We're going to have it and having special meetings as well as it relates to the budget.
And I understand Plant Moran, what have you, but we got a treasurer.
Oh, no doubt, for sure. For sure, yes, sir. I get it. Okay. Anything else, sir? All right. Councilwoman Washington?
All right. I'll keep it short. I just wanted to say thank you to the Department of Public Services. They went to Grandview and filled in potholes. We had a senior citizen that brought it up, and Miss Shirley Hankinson that brought it up a few times in regards to the Grandview, and they were able to fill in potholes. Also, thank you also to code enforcement for addressing the issues on Glenwood with leaving the trash cans out and pest issues or rodent issues, and just want to put it on the radar for the officers to keep watch on Glenwood as well, because the summer months, hotter months are coming soon. Also, I was able to attend the Easter events this weekend at the Recreational Center and Smith Chapel. I really enjoyed it. Was able to watch the kids. You know, I have the kids of my own, but I was able to see the kids. They really enjoyed themselves at those events. I also always like to share resources for those people that may be in need. If you are in need of food, utilities, rent, or mortgage assistance, you can contact United Way at 211. They do also have RAP services, which is water bill assistance for all communities. That phone number is 313-388-9799, or you can call Wayne Metro at 313-388-9799, which is the same organization. So that'll be all that I have for tonight.
All right, Councilwoman Watley?
Yes, sir. I'm just inquiring. You all did send a letter out for Gabe about to go to the different places to get.
Oh yeah, he has a letter. Yes, ma'am.
All right, good. Just making sure because I know he had. Now another thing is, I came up here for a pension board meeting on Thursday, and City Hall was closed for lunch. Is that something that is currently going on now, or was that just a one-day thing, or are we closing for lunch?
No, we weren't necessarily closed for lunch. I think we were operating on the skeleton crew. People were still working, right? I know we had some people up in the front.
No, the front door was completely locked because another gentleman and I were there, and there's a sign on the door that said closed for lunch.
Oh, okay.
Now, I had a way to get in because of my thing, but he didn't. And I'm just trying to find out, because I remember once before we did close.
Yes.
But everyone was notified for that. So,
right.
Because, and when we opened again, it was because a lot of people do their business on their lunch hour, because that's the only time they have. So, are we going to be closed or open, just so we can notify?
No, we're definitely open. I think it was just a one-off because we had a potluck for Easter celebration, Good Friday celebration. So I knew that we had some folks that were still in the front, but I didn't realize that we were actually
the doors were
closed.
Okay.
So we're definitely, I get it.
So it's just a one-time thing. We open, people.
Just a one-off.
We open.
Yes, definitely open.
All right. Also, I'm looking at the status of the cleaning contract. What is that? Are we still have a contract with the cleaning people?
Yes, we do have a contract with the cleaning people, which we need to, and during this budget process, that's what we bring into this body to reconsider that, to bring in, to actually hire someone to do our cleaning here at the city, because it's just, with the amount of money that we spend, we know that we should be able to hire a full-time person and possibly a part-time person to be able to go between the buildings, because right now we have them on a schedule of off days where Monday and Wednesday they're at City Hall, Tuesday and Thursday they're at the rec center or at PD. So just to be totally honest, the service that we're getting is, for lack of a better word, it's...
Well, that's what was brought to my attention, that the places, especially the rec center, is just yuck, you know? And I remember the treasurer saying he actually cleaned some himself over there. Also in the check register, I'm seeing purchases, large amounts for cleaning supplies. And the cleaning company that we hired, that was supposed to be included in what they did. So that's a concern. If we're purchasing cleaning supplies and doing it ourselves, and we've got somebody who's supposed to be doing it and supplying all of that, once again, we're not getting the best bang for our buck. So I'd like to have us look into that.
Okay. And if you can send me those line items for that, please. If you can send me that line item for that, you said that you saw the check register.
Oh yeah. I always send.
I know Daryl on it.
I try not to bother you with.
I just want to see it, though. So when you're asking me, I know.
I'm just kidding. But I will start including you on the email. Because I go through the list every month. He'll tell you, and I send you all the things I find questionable in the budget.
And I'm hoping he's answering them to satisfaction.
Okay. The other thing was the legal services, but we've already exhausted that. I just, that we still are paying 2 legal firms, Jim Allen and Dinkenschnink. I can't pronounce that. What is it?
Right, and just for the purposes of the general public as it relates to why we're paying Jim Allen is because we've been under negotiations, union negotiations, for the last year or so with PD and with the fire department, and we're close. As you all, tonight we're working on the contract, so hopefully that'll wrap up within the next 30 days, and we'll be done with the Allen brothers. He's the only person left at the Allen brothers. Okay, and the fact that we haven't gotten our February bill from them yet. Correct, which David Jones said will be coming. He said it's coming. Or not coming. Or either way, we'll take it not coming. Don't keep it. And you explained about why the insurance proposal was not on the agenda, so I'm fine with that now. I do have a lady who is calling me about demolition of houses. I tried to explain to her that we can't just come in and tear down people's property, but if you give me the information on it, we can see what the process is, because they're saying they're burned out. And I know the fire department has some insurance thing where they can demolish the property if the person had insurance and blah, 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 blah. So I want to get with you to find out, or get with whoever to find out those procedural things people have to go through when they have this on their street. Because I think there should be a paper trail. Because otherwise they call you every year at this time to tell you that you didn't do your job last year. Yes, ma'am. So if we have some sort of mechanism or paper trail that these people can follow, we'll say, well, yeah, you got your complaint here. You were told this needs to be done and that needs to be done, but you haven't done that yet. So we didn't proceed. Something I get it.
It's
in the building department. We do have that.
Yeah, but maybe we need that to be able to forward to the other people. Okay, I'll make sure that we get that. I already discussed the garage door in Parks and Recs with with the treasurer. Okay. Yeah. So, and now my last thing, as going through that enormous bill we got from the legal people, I came across a RFQ for Hype and the rec center. I am not familiar with anything we're doing in that area, so could you please explain what's going on with that?
Yeah, it was just something that we had sent over to the attorney to take a look at, just in case if we wanted to bring it before the body, as it relates to possibly doing a management agreement with Hype, or any management company through Parks and Rec. So just before, of course, we brought it out to the general public, doing our due diligence as it relates to that.
Okay, well, I'm trying to make sure that we're not getting ready, because I see Hypes all over, that we're not getting ready to turn our rec center over to Hype. Because, number one, we have all that money we got from Wayne County for renovations, got $2.5 million from Rashida Tlaib for a senior center that was supposed to be connected to that in some fashion, and it runs on a millage. So all those things are us, Yes. So I'm just trying to make sure we're not getting ready to turn over this situation. No. Because I don't think it would be something that the citizens would be
No, not at all. We definitely now let me just say this and just make sure that we understand this. We will not be giving up anything as it relates to our community rec center or parks. However, our community rec center and our parks have been dilapidated for over a decade, and nothing has been done. And we know that the millage money is going to either run out eventually, or we're going to go back to the taxpayers to keep asking for the millage money. So just like you were saying, as it relates to what have we done with that money. Now, the money that we just received for Rashida is for the senior center, which we've advocated for, and we've been advocating since 2009, and we just received that particular money. And then the same thing with the renovations. So as we're talking about even looking at the possibility of working with or partnering with an organization to do some management services. It's just really to actually add more services to the community rec center, and also to be able to get out into the parks themselves, because we don't have money to renovate our parks, and that's why the parks look like they do. So we're working right now. I'm sorry, you have something to add?
No, I'm talking to her.
Oh, okay. As it relates to the parks themselves, I just had a meeting with the Parks and Rec Commission, and they're looking at an Adopt the Park program, to where the citizens or corporations hopefully will look at adopting the parks, to be able to help us. But at this time, we don't have the money, even with the millage, to govern the parks. We just don't have it. As we're crunching the numbers, the treasurer and I, we actually had a really long conversation about this today. As we're looking to crunch the numbers as it relates to the millage on how much money that we're getting at the rec center to run programs and operations, is just really, to be honest, at the end of the day, we don't have enough money for staff to operate the rec fully. Because when the consent the consent agreement came into place back in 2013, the recommendation was to actually close the Parks and Rec services, period, in the city of Inkster, and also to our library. That's why we ended up becoming the library authority, where the library operates outside the general fund. It was the same thing was recommended for the Parks and Rec department, but we didn't do that. So as we're, of course, looking to make sure that we're servicing our community, we want to have the best thing out there. I want to be just like Wayne. It's 2,000 residents in the city of Inkster that go over to Wayne for services within the hype, if that's what we want to compare it to, because everybody that I've talked to said hype, hype, or comparing it to hype. But, for me, it's, again, us, and then us working with a partner, if it's hype or not, to be able to add more services for us at the bottom line. And that hasn't come to you yet, just because I wasn't ready to put it out there.
Well, when I see stuff, I ask about it, because,
Well, you wait the council meeting to ask about it, but okay, I get it.
Yeah, because I'm concerned. There are people, nothing stays secret in Inkster.
No.
If one person knows about it, and they learned about it over there at Cherry Hill and Henry Ruff, by the time I get home over here, it's over here already. So I'm just making sure, and I'm asking these questions because I want your assurance that nothing of this nature is going to happen. Because everyone who has ever talked about hype talks about the enormous membership fees they have for things that they own like that. Right. And we consider this a community. I mean, people are calling the rec center our jewel. Yes. And I'm just making sure we're not about to turn our jewel over to a thief. That's all.
I totally understand that, 100%. But let me just say this, though, and I think everybody in this room can agree, that the rec center has not been functioning effectively for over a decade.
That's because the funds are not going the regular way.
Exactly. And so we have to, and understand this too, that it's not enough to be able to do everything that we want to have in comparison to other communities. And we're just looking at the rec center itself. The rec center itself, while it is our jewel, it is our heart, it is our heartbeat. And it's on the north side of Michigan Avenue, but what about the south side? What about the 14 parks that we have within our community? We don't have monies set aside in the budget, and we haven't had monies in the budget to even cut grass at the parks. To not even cut grass at the parks. It hasn't been in the budget. And you can go back through your budget to even cut grass, and the DPW is not responsible for grass. To be totally honest, because of the consent agreement, they're responsible for water. So we know that we're thin, but we have to get creative. And we're not talking about giving away anything, because that's not the integrity of it all. But at the same time, we have to provide those services. And we know we have volunteers to say they're going to do this and do that, but at the end of the day, where are they at?
What was that you said, Ruthie? The money ain't going where it's supposed to go?
I work for the recreation for 2 years. We have funds. That's why we went for a millage in 06, went back for 16. Money will be there. You say we don't have money for park and recreation. That's why it's called parks, just to keep the parks cut with their baseball program. Then you call recreation. We should do recreation program. I had 3 or 4 kids in there every Saturday. Money's there, but it got redirected when Rick, what's his name, Marsh, what's his name? Mark?
Richard Marsh? Mark Stewart Drive.
Took the money and took it away. When he took the money away.
I didn't mean to start an argument.
No, you're fine. Because we have to understand this, and I'm going to recognize you, Commissioner Hankerson. We have to have these conversations. So believe it or not, I'm actually glad that it's happened. Because we cannot continue to operate we can't continue to operate like we're operating in the city at all. We have to be accountable for one another. And we have to demand excellence in anything that we're doing. And everybody want to have nice stuff and have nice things, but when it comes down to at the end of the day, what are we really looking at and how we're really operating? Go ahead, Council. Go ahead. Come on, Commissioner. Come on, Commissioner Hankerson. Give it to me.
Oh, you know you go get it now. Because you just met with us on Thursday. You didn't mention anything to us about this.
Yeah, because there wasn't anything to mention on Thursday.
Really?
Yeah.
But if Ms. Watley just brought it up, there is something to mention.
Yeah, well, she could have called me and talked to me about it.
No, she should say it publicly because it's a public, it's for Parks and Rec.
I haven't even made it there yet to talk to it in public.
You sure? The rumor is it's all over Inkster almost.
Well, it's because, people that I talk to in confidence about what we think we should do.
So they spilled the beans. So you should have brought that to Parks and Rec to see how we felt. You just met with us on Thursday. You didn't mention anything about that. We talked about everything but that. Okay,
Yes,
and I don't think that's fair for us as commissioners for you to know that was your plan or you've been thinking about doing something along those lines and you don't, and that's important. And as commissioners,
about in this community for the last 10 years.
us as commissioners, I don't care about those last 10 years. I'm talking about right now, today.
I wanted to do it the right way.
Okay. Well, you should have said something. You could have even mentioned it to us, just so we could think about it, or ask our opinion at the last minute about it. You said nothing.
I wasn't ready for you.
Oh, I'm sure you weren't, because you wanted to spring it on us when you had made a decision.
No, not necessarily a decision. Of course, we would need to have a community meeting. This can't be done at council meeting. This has to be done in a town hall.
Really?
Where all people can come in and voice their opinion.
Well, before you make a decision, we appreciate if you do exactly just that.
Let me say this to you.
Okay.
My intentions, and it still is, to come to the body and talk to you about what my intentions are and see how you felt about it.
Okay.
So then, if you...
So can I tell you how we really feel about it?
If you're negative about it or you feel like we shouldn't do it, you would give me the reasons why.
Okay.
And then I would say, no, maybe we shouldn't do this at this time. You follow me?
Because if you do that, your head will roll. I just want you to know that. And it won't be, your head will roll if you do that. And it will not be by the commissioners. It'll be by the citizens of Inkster. Because everybody that has gone to Hype, that is that's in Westland or either in Romulus, they have to pay a fee. They pay a $25 to $30 fee per person or a group fee as a family. That's why Hype is able to stay open.
You do realize we do have a membership fee, even as...
that would be fine.
Said we had membership fees at this...
And our citizens we would be willing to pay that. I would be willing to pay a membership if I had to.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so then those are things. So those are things that we should discuss before you decide to make a decision or talk about bringing in somebody in.
This way, but it's out now.
Okay, all right.
It's happened, so it is what it is. But when you say my head will roll, understand this. But let me just say that. Let me say this. Let me say
by the citizens of Inkster, because everybody knows the reputation of Hype and what they've done to the city.
And we're not even talking about Hype. Hype is not exclusive to this and what we're talking about. Again, if we're talking about moving forward, you would actually put out a request for qualifications and a request for proposal from whoever. Hype has always been, because it's close to us, on people's mind. Yeah. But as it relates to it, I'm sorry, I get to you. Ma'am, I just want to put this out here. And people have told me, as I'm talking to them in confidence, it may be political suicide. However, I'm not about the politics. I'm about this community. I love this community and what's best for this community. I'm tired of going into the rec and the rec center looks like it does. I'm tired of going to the parks and they look like it does. And it has been like that for years. You've been a commissioner over there for how long? How long have you been a commissioner there? So those people that have been here, their heads should actually be rolling, because what are we talking about doing instead of talking about what we have? What do we have? What is it that we have? We got to put our heart into it. We got to make the right decisions, and it'll go out to the community as a whole to make that decision. It's not my decision to make as it relates to that and how we operate. But what I have right now is a budget that I would love for Ruth Williams to come, Commissioner Williams to come and sit down with us and tell us how we can make it work. But why hasn't it been done since 2006? You said 2008, 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It's 2022 right now. And it still looks the same. And nothing has been done.
But it's how the money is allocated, Mayor.
I'm sorry, ma'am?
It's how the money is allocated.
Yes, ma'am. I totally understand. I totally
Like,
understand.
you know, I've been in the city all my life, and I look at the stuff that's around me, and it's ridiculous.
Yes.
Does not make sense.
Yes, ma'am.
But it starts with you first.
Yes, ma'am. For sure. And I sometimes may have to make the tough decisions or hard decisions to put stuff out. I'm okay with that because I love this city at the end of the day. And if people don't want me to sit in this position because of that, then it is what it is. Because I know that I'm about this city. I put my money where my mouth is.
I want to see that.
Oh, well, I've done it. And people know.
Even this Watley is my house. Like the young lady said, write them out and see what your district.
Oh, believe it's a business. It's a business.
As well as yourself.
Oh, no doubt. And I do it all the time. I agree. Go ahead.
I like, Mayor, I like you do just what you said. Put it out to the public.
Yeah, that's exactly what we would do.
And I guarantee you what we did in 06, council was against it. They wanted to close in 06. We went out and got over 5,000 signatures in 3 days.
Yeah.
We did it. So I'm just saying, you put it to the people. I can't see the citizens want to see it.
Here's what I'm saying to you, and this is with all due respect. I get that. With those 5,000 signatures, what has been done with the money that we received right now?
You really want me to tell you when we had the budget,
I get it.
The rec complex, I left on 13.
Yeah.
The budget was cut by March. What happened to you guys in 12?
Come on to the podium, that way everybody can hear you.
$460,000 budget and turned it to $250,000. What do you do with the $200,000? I used to tell Councilman Williams, and I told my brother this too. Okay, when that budget got cut from $460 to $250 to run and operate that building, they knew it was not going to run and operate.
It was going to be
we had this damage in there, so that saved them for 1 year. 14 it opened back up. It was being ran, but it's never been ran properly since the time I left there. And I'm just saying, if the budget get back to where it's supposed to go, if the millage is there for $460,000, it doesn't cost that to run that building. We should pay $100,000 for light, gas, phone bill.
It's let me say it like this. So it's like $470. You have $100 that goes to the seniors right off, and then you have $65 that goes into retirement for people that retire from the rec complex.
But I'm
so
still
you
saying
deduct
the seniors is getting $265,000. They got one meal, so it's got to be half of the meal that we're getting.
We're getting $100,000 from the rec.
Okay, but I'm just saying, they're utilizing the building every day. Some of their funds should go in that building too. I'm on the senior board, and I'm not knocking the senior board, but I'm saying if everybody working together, the seniors utilizing that building now more than anyone.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I've been told that that's the senior building now. You know, I'm just saying, so it needs to be utilized the right way with funds.
Okay. And I think these are the hard discussions that we have.
And work any budget y'all want to work.
Okay. And that's what I'm going to be asking for, but I think it needs to be a community conversation. Since it's out the bag, we need to actually have a town hall meeting and talk about it.
Put out there that you say?
Yes. We need to. Yeah, for sure. We just need to talk about it and see exactly what we come up with. Because the numbers are what they are. But we know 100,000 of that 400. So now you're down to 370. And then you got 65 that goes to retirement. So you got 300,000 to operate. Parks and rec. It's not just the building. What about the parks? You paying people to operate the building. Salaries alone is half of that.
Okay, but now you talking about cutting grass. Whoever has this contract go to these different lots to cut the grass. They don't pick up the paper and stuff before they cut the grass. They just go back and start cutting.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Leave the stuff out there. That's you know, and you all pay them. And I don't understand.
Oh, listen, believe me, that's one of my pet peeves right now. We're working on that, but it's at the same time we've been paying you. You get what you pay for. Back in, yes, ma'am. Oh, no doubt about that. But I can only work with what I have. I can only work with what I have. Okay, so I get that. Anything else?
No, I'm scared.
Oh no, come on, listen. That's what I'm built for this. I ain't it is what it is.
No, other than other than, when are we gonna get our GFL contract? Is that?
So David, I know that you're talking with the attorney right now for GFL.
I sent the latest demands to GFL been 2-3 weeks ago. Had not gotten a response. I got a phone call, but not a response. And I suspect the phone call is because they're not happy with the increased demands, but I expect to talk to their counsel tomorrow, Mike Fish. He left me a voicemail message.
Okay, well, in line with our contract where they owe us money if they don't pick up, compost started 2 weeks ago. Mine hasn't been picked up yet. So those are days we need to add to what they owe us.
Okay.
And I would like to encourage the rest of the community, if they don't pick up your stuff, call your council person and tell them. Because there is a clause, a penalty clause in the contract that says, if you don't pick this up for every day it's out there, they owe us money. So, help us out by doing that. Calling and saying they didn't pick up my compost.
When I call your number, it goes to voicemail.
Which number you calling?
The number that they have for you.
Well, see, that's the city number. I will give you a card that has my home number on it before you leave, okay?
I appreciate it.
All right.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's it, sir.
All right, perfect. Go ahead, Councilman Williams. You can go ahead. You got the floor.
I'm just going to add to I won't add to that. That's not what I'm going to talk about. But I'm going to add to what you're saying.
It's your floor, so go ahead. You say whatever you want.
Okay. The recycling bins are being dumped with the garbage. Okay. I brought that to Mr. Bittler's attention. I brought it to everybody's attention. That they're going up and down the street. They're dumping the blue cans in with the gray cans. Okay. And I see they're still doing it. Okay, and then y'all should look at it when they come down the street and dump, and see if they're dumping it on your street, dumping the blue cans in there, because we're supposed to be in recycling. But if we got an agreement that they're not going to pick up recycling, then we need to know that, because that's a lot of work that we do to see them come by and just dump the blue cans right into the gray.
No, that's a violation of the contract.
Okay, well they're doing it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I know you took some pictures or some video of them doing it.
Another thing, Mr. Mayor, you want me to continue?
Yeah, for sure. It's your floor.
Okay. Another thing I want to talk about the audit. Okay. I've been on this council back in 2019 in November. I haven't seen an audit yet. Okay. I heard Plant Moran talk about the audit, the treasurer. The auditor firm that we hired and we paid have not gave us an audit report. Okay, now I want to know where it's at.
Before the board and doing it? Okay.
Okay, I'd like to know where that report.
Okay.
Okay.
So by state law, you have to have an audit each year. So we do, and you will not receive state.
Okay, so we had an audit.
So we've had an audit.
Okay, how come? I mean, maybe the council got it. I didn't get one.
Okay.
Do we have an audit?
Audit isn't complete. It'll be complete.
This year's audit.
This year's audit.
I'm talking about last year's audit.
Well, I have several audits from last year in my office, copies of the audit. So if you want a copy of the audit, you can just go back down and get it.
Sir, I'll be at your office tomorrow.
Yeah, let's make sure that he gets one.
Wednesday.
And then also too, let's make sure that we get them on the agenda to come before us as it relates to the audit once they're complete to actually give us a report.
Okay. Number two, there's a tree on Moore and Andover. The whole tree, bushes, and various things is wrapped around the electrical wiring. And then Cattico off of Moore and Andover, over there where we have a lot of trees that's falling apart, falling down. And I'm just wondering what could we do in that area over there. Now, I don't know who owns that property, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
But I took pictures of all of that. But the one that got all the tree bushes running over the electrical wiring in there, I don't know if that'll be DTE. I will be up.
It'll be DTE.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay. Can we get them to kind of deal with that? It's on the corner of Andover and Moore. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I know that's not in my district, but I need to report that because it looks kind of bad. And then if a storm comes, all of the wires are going to stop.
Okay.
We do have a lot of dead trees. Are we making any kind of program that we can get a lot of these dead trees out of the city?
Yeah, we do it every year.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can see a report of all the trees that we cut last year.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, have we started that? Are we doing it?
Yes, he never stops.
Okay, all right. I don't know, because I got some.
Do you have some to report?
Yeah,
Okay,
I have a lot of them.
Mr. Billers.
So I'll get with you with that.
Okay.
Okay, another issue I want to bring up. We sit here and sign a contract agreement with the Cherry Hill Apartments, and I know you know about it. I turned everything over to you.
Yes, sir.
You say you're going to deal with it, but I'm saying it because the public will probably be listening and want to know what is happening with them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when we sit here and talk with that management company, they indicated that they were going to move people around and various things like that, but yet still they wouldn't evict anyone. So you promised me right here that you was going to take care of it the first thing tomorrow. Right?
Oh, no doubt I'm going to get on the phone.
But I just want the public to know that they did us an unfair deal, because simple fact is they know they're supposed to move them people around, put them back in there.
Not an unfair deal. They lied to us if that's the case.
Well, I didn't
they
want
said what they were going to do.
I was trying to say it in a professional way.
It is what it is. Let's be straight with it. So if that's the case, from what the documentation that you presented to me, basically what we did was a pilot program over at the Cherry Hill Place Apartments, and we've extended them to be able to go into their senior buildings and also to in the lower high rises. They're spending $1 million in that area to renovate those spaces. They stood before us. Actually, was it video? We was on video conference.
I think so.
The first one.
The first one.
The second one they came back.
That's what Lark.
Yeah, exactly. That they said that they would, as they remodeled the places, that they wouldn't be making people move. That they would relocate them in the same building, fix up one, and then put them back into space. However, well, we received a letter. The councilman just gave me the letter tonight from one of the residents that's saying that they're going to have to move out of the building totally while they do renovations. So if that's the case, then David, I know that Harry was the person that was working on this particular issue. So I need to talk with Harry tomorrow morning, and then let's get them on the phone. Mark Cepio, I believe his name is.
That's his name, correct.
And then figure out exactly what's going on. Councilwoman Washington, you have something to add to that? Yeah. I'm sorry, before you're done, she was raising her hand while you were speaking. Go ahead.
So, I mean, what Councilman Williams was saying as well, I reached out to the resident, and she did make that a concern that she wasn't for sure of all the residents, but for herself and then another neighbor of hers, that they all have to move out by April the 30th, 2020, for those who did not have leases, because the old management did not have leases for everybody. So everybody didn't have updated leases. But for those that did have leases, they're allowing them to stay to the end of their term. I mean, of the end of their lease. So I got an email for the management, and I got in touch with Attorney Jones, and we're gonna kind of get in contact with them to try to see, or I'm also getting in contact with the management to see what's going on as well. Mm-hmm. But that's what I heard from the young lady. So I just want to get more information from other residents as well.
You probably just need to go over there and visit like we've done before.
Right. I need to hear from the other residents as well.
Okay.
To see if the story is the same for everybody as well.
Yeah, because that's again, if that's the case, they lied to us, and we need to figure out what's going on and hold them to it.
I go with you.
Okay, Councilman, still your floor, sir. Go ahead.
Okay.
We got closed session too.
Let me personally thank the chief of police, Rector. He left.
He had he's dealing with something.
Yeah, he can watch it on too. I like to personally thank him for the job that he's done. I see a lot of changes going on, and it is really I just saying I was thanking you for appreciate what you're doing in the community. You know, as the chief, and some of the things that we're doing. And I believe if we all in this city come together, we're going to be able to fight the crime in here. It's going to be a joyful, lovable city to live in. Okay, and it takes the chief, the man, all of us to get on board and police our area. And the people of this community especially need to police the area. Now, when a stone is thrown, okay, I just have to speak on it, okay? I don't know who district that the young lady was talking about councilmen policing their district, okay? But I'll say this, my district is District 1. I patrol my area. I got people that help me patrol it. I got staff and try to get there, as you said is, and if you check the record, you'll find out that most of all of the vacant land that the city had to keep cut and all of that, we just about to sold that and got it cleaned up over in the area. We've been working. Not only that, I've trapped over in other people's districts, okay? Because people call you, you know, they call you, and then you tell them, well, that ain't my district. They don't care. They just want you to answer, okay? So what I'm saying is, you know, we got a lot of different dead trees and stuff like that, and we clean the dead trees. I don't know how would we do it, Mr. Mayor, because a lot of these empty lots that we got a lot of dirt, dead trees on it, and we're not gonna be able to sell that to nobody unless we kind of clean it up ourselves or something like that. Do we have to, or just let it sit there?
Well, no, we don't want it to sit there just because, again, number one, they aren't safe. And then you talk about cleanliness being next to godliness. We want to make sure we clean it up. You know, that's one of our main priorities. So as we talk about beautification and the city and each one of us being involved, we definitely need the whole, our community involved. So whether it's through community block clubs, whether it's through churches, that's on probably like every corner in the city of Inkster for the most part, us all rallying them behind the beautification committee and coming together and do an Inkster city makeover and cleaning as much property as we possibly can every Saturday of the month, not just the 3 months that's warm, but every Saturday of the month.
Like I told you, I would have that
so we're gonna work on that.
Planning booklet done of all of the vacant houses and stuff I got in my area. I'll be getting that to you.
Okay.
Okay. One more thing, you rushing me.
I'm not rushing you, sir. I just said that you're still at close.
I don't know. The young lady talked about 3806 Isabel Street. You did tell her that she was going to take look into that matter.
Yes.
Okay, but you do know I also look into the matters of any house in my area.
No doubt about that.
Okay, and this Isabel Street is in my area.
That's your council person.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I will be dead on that along with the mayor. He'll work with me. Okay, another thing, and then I'm closing. And I'm saying this publicly because I love you. Okay? Anytime you ever tell me anything, I do not share that with anybody. Okay? Now, I don't know how you did talk to me about the plan. Okay? And I want to know, I don't know how it got out. Okay? But it didn't come from this person here.
I understand.
Okay?
I do.
It didn't come out from here. So how it got out there, I don't know.
We are. It just,
I know you're private when you say you only told me.
Okay. Wally just said it. It was on the bill.
It was on the bill.
Okay, but I just want you to know that personally.
Yeah, I get it.
In public.
I understand.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I love you.
I love you too.
All right.
Okay.
All right. That's all I have today. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, sir. And thank you. Give you a hug after that. All right. Sean, you got anything for us?
I just got a couple of things.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
I just want to, first of all, I want to thank Safe Asanad from the Mayor's Administration and also Officer Paisley from Code Enforcement that took care of some things for me, and I want to thank you, Safe, for that. And also I want to say thanks to David Jones, Attorney Jones, for speaking up at the council meetings that we had. You know, it's a lot of times the citizens come up, or it may be a legal matter and what have you, and we may be hand-tied not to say anything, even though we want to help our citizens out by saying something, but it may cause a lawsuit or some confusion. So I thank Attorney Jones for being on fire, stepping up and saying something so that we won't look, or I won't look like, I don't want to say anything concerning the matter. He has been on fire for the last few meetings. It's the best that I have ever saw Attorney Jones, even when I sat on council before. He's kind of a little bit laid back, but he was speaking, at times. But he is standing up and stepping up on the city's behalf, and for the council's behalf, and I want to say thank you, David Jones. Mm-hmm. Also,
I thought we were going to jump on him.
Continue on, Shaw, and just be it.
Yes, sir. There's a trash dump. There's some dump in the back of the ice arena.
Yes.
It's a huge mess. I know they've been trying to clean out the ice arena to kind of get it right. But somebody came back there and just dumped a whole bunch of trash and what have you, debris back there. Just asked that we can get that cleaned up. And in the front of this the African market, been in the market. It's a beautiful market. They got a lot of goods and services in the market. But in front of the market, it's coming off of Inkster Road. We're trying to beautify Inkster Road. I think they had a water main break and it just tore up the grass there and what have you. If we could, get them some help to try to get that grass settled, for the landscape and what have you, because it's going to be a walkable. It was, slated for a walkable area right there. They had new cement, new siding right there. Okay. Unfortunately, the Coney Island is gone. But we want to get around there and kind of help them out a little bit, see what we can do to kind of get the landscape back so we can make it, I talked to the owner, he's trying to put up a nice little sign and try to get his business off the ground. Okay. And also around the corner over there on Charitable, we have, a couple of potholes there. I'll be sending out emails and pictures also concerning the potholes on Kirsten Street off of Mr. Road. And also on Oakland, between South River and John Daly, if we can get that small section of potholes over there.
The whole city has potholes.
I understand. I'm just talking about my district.
With all respect, ma'am, through the chair, that's out of order.
I mean, he's calling out different streets.
Yeah, but that's his.
The whole city has potholes.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. I apologize.
Thank you.
Around the whole city, I was right in my district, so I don't know.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Go ahead, Councilman. With respect. Go ahead.
And also, if you see something, say something. And if you see something, let me know. And then I will come around your area or around your district and let you know what's going on, or I'll come and visit you myself if you have an issue or what have you. I know where you at on Division Street. I know where Kirstein is on Emerson. So, I mean, just let me know and I'll be around in your area as well to protect the whole city. So, and then I want to bait the chief. I told him this. I said, well, I want you to tell your story because he has a beautiful story about coming up and raising up in the city of Inkster. He started as a cadet. He talked to some of my family members and they told me his story as well. And he told me his story. I mean, he has a great story. From a cadet to a chief. I mean, that ought to be a book. So I just want to bait him out to come out and tell us about his story. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Chisholm.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a few quick things really quick. To Treasurer Green, I did send out that email, and both gentlemen have replied in there, so you had a contact information. They do want to have a meeting as soon as possible. And then also, we did have some great events in Inkster this weekend. I did attend a few of them that I was able to make it to. I didn't get over to the gas giveaway to see how long that line was, especially with the construction and stuff out there. And I know our police were stretched thin trying to be at everything, but I just wanted to say actually one of the Easter events was at Miss Coco's house right there in Chestnut and Williams that she has for the kids. And that was the first time I'd ever seen someone have an Easter event at their house for the neighborhood. She had been passing out flyers and whatnot, and I did see some while I was there briefly, but unfortunately, when I got there, she wasn't there because someone had stole the wheels off her Challenger at Burning Bush Ministries. So I did go down there just to go check on her because she was waiting on the tow truck, but she had went somewhere, but it was a terrible sight to see a brand new car in the parking lot at the church with the wheels missing. And so I don't know if DTE resolved the power issue or not yet, but there were some citizens all the way down to Henry Ruff lead, because I guess a car or something hit the pole right behind or right by the old Inkster school property, so like say Spring Arbor and Henry Ruff area. Okay. I had just happened to drive that way and I saw it because the power had went out for I guess about half the day or something like that, but I believe they may have gotten that resolved. Okay. But I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who participated in the events this week to make all those different efforts in improving and making the children happy and helping out citizens who might have been in need of, you know, gasoline and things of that nature. That is it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, you're welcome. I just want to echo the sentiment of as it relates to all the activity that happened in the city this weekend. It was fantastic. Everybody that was involved, I can't name everybody, but Inkster Housing, Inkster Task Force, Unity and Community, of course, Inkster PD, our administration, Wayne County Sheriff, it was awesome. Smith Chapel. Like you said, the gas giveaway with the Inkster Minister Alliance, it was just outstanding. And Inkster is one of those places that people will rally together, people will come out, and we've seen it more so over the pandemic. But I know as we get out the pandemic, we want to make sure we keep that momentum up. So I'm really excited about a couple more events that we'll be having coming throughout the summer. We have a litany of things that'll be happening. Hopefully the robocalls will help where everybody don't get missed, because I did get that a lot this weekend. You know, I didn't know anything about it. You know, when I went on Facebook Live, I'm sorry?
Did the news people broadcast that?
Yes, the news did. Yes, the news.
Saturday?
Yes.
They did show it. Okay.
Yes, Channel 4 News did come out. Yeah, we said they normally don't come out, but they came out.
And they showed it on TV?
Yes.
Good, okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Channel 2 showed it more than 4.
So Channel 2 and 4, and I know that's all because
they showed more Inkster because they showed down here on 2. I know. And they showed him on 4.
We getting a little bit more exposure. Good stuff is happening in the city, so we want to keep that momentum up. This councilmatic body, the RFP is concluded as it relates to the speed humps in the city. We only have one bidder come in, right, Werner? Was it only one? No. With the speed humps, was it one bidder? You don't know that? Okay. Okay. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Jerome sent it directly to me. I ain't sent it to you guys yet, but I'll be sending it to all of you tomorrow as it relates to.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Okay, you talking about a speed bump?
Yes.
And where would it go?
That's what we're working on now. So,
okay, so that costs?
Cost monies. Yes, for sure. We will be having that on the agenda for the next meeting coming up, so I'll be sending you guys that information. It's been 3 weeks that we put out the RFP. You just sent it to me this morning. I don't know why I thought you guys were included on that. However, I'll make sure that I send it out to everyone, and then we'll, of course, bring it back to this body, do it in the public, and then go from there. Okay, that's that. As it relates to demos, we will be having several properties demolished within the city of Inkster. I don't have those addresses in front of me. However, it's through the county, that the county is actually going to be out with some of those properties that, mainly that one that's on Manning Street. We had talked about that one for sure. The one in your district, Councilwoman Wiley, right at the corner of Inkster Road, for sure is going to be done. And there's several others that will be done. So you'll see that activity working. A lot of the monies that comes for demolition comes through what's called Community Development Block Grant monies. And it is competitive, and it's only a certain amount of money. It's like $4 million that the county receives through the federal government for the Community Development Block Grant. And they went competitive because it's 38 communities that receive that monies. So now they say, okay, you got to have a competitive project, and most of those projects have to be what they call shovel ready. You have to have all of the RFP work done. You have to have all of the plan and designs done. You have to have all the specifications done, and it costs money to do that stuff. So when we go and talk to people about money, we want to be ready. So at any rate, as we talk about demolitions, we are petitioning for more demos to be done. If you have somebody in your district, as you're going through your district, because I know, as I was saying earlier, that all of you do go through your district, and you do let us know what's going on. Let us know so we can make sure we get those things on the list. If we don't own those properties, they have to go through the process. So as it relates to condemning the process, being on the demolition list, it has to go through the process. Is that cutting me off? All right, I'll take it. All right.
That was not.
Motion to go into closed session. We do have a few more items we got to talk about, right, David?
Yes, we have to finish. We need to discuss the Murray matter, the Mona matter, and the Sleepy matter.
All right, then. Motion go in closed session.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Support. It's moved and supported. Let's go into closed session so we can get out. I know you guys want to talk and everything, but you know, David.
It was the ping on my phone.
Y'all come out with you can't put nobody out. Not so we can get y'all. If you want to sit there, then just go ahead and sit there.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, we gotta log out, don't we?
We're still online. We're still online. That's what I'm trying to tell you. We're still online. We'll just sit down right here. So you want to walk all the way down?
Don't tell Howard I was sitting in the seat.
Oh, she gonna see it on video.
I'm about to say she watching right now.
Oh, sure enough.
All right, you got a couple of, you got any action there, City Clerk?
Yes. In the matter of Murray, is there a motion to accept the recommendation of the city attorney?
So move.
Your support?
Support.
Moved and properly supported. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have a motion carried.
In the matter of Monier Estate, accept...
Moner's Estate?
Moner, I'm sorry.
No worries.
Accept the recommendation of the city attorney.
So move.
Support.
It's been moved and properly supported. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion have. Anything else?
And the last is to accept the city attorney's recommendation in the matter of Suite B.
There was no motion, was there? He said he didn't need us to do anything.
No action needs to be taken
No
as it
action.
relates to that matter. Motion for adjournment?
So move.
Their support?
Support.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
If they say nay, they can stay. Time now is 10:01.
It ain't bad.